Hey everybody, this is the 3-meter Shane telescope dome. You can see right there, there's ladders so you can crawl all the way up. I had the opportunity to possibly ride an elevator all the way to the top last night, or actually this morning, but I decided not to because I was already afraid of heights when I climbed up the reflector telescope in the other building yesterday. But I wanted to give you guys a tour, tell you guys what happened, and show you guys how actually tall this building is. I don't think anyone's actually in the building. They said it's going to be pretty hard for me to find somebody to take a picture for me. I might have to call somebody from another department. But this is a little visitor gallery. And this is the 3-meter Shane telescope. I'll probably go in there and go around on the catwalk in a bit. But this is the visitor center. It's completely open to the public. The door was wide open, but I have to go get my food, which is behind that door. But yes, that is the 3-meter Shane telescope, and I'll continue this video once I go inside. Okay guys, so I just got my food from this closet. So the visitors gallery is on the other side. And see, it says close the outer door before opening this door. Close our inner door before opening this door. Please observe light trap procedure. So at nighttime, this is the kitchen and there's light in here, but in the main console room, in the control, well, in the dome room, it's completely pitch black except for the night sky. So we're supposed to prevent light from going in there. But this is the library on the side of the dome. So we went from like private space to public space, but see, we're gonna go right into here. What's crazy, and I've asked, is that I'm allowed to go anywhere that my key opens, which is sort of cool. But I'm gonna walk to the control room right now just to see if anybody's in there, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the building. Let's see. This way is to the control room. So this is where we were. I was here till 3:30. So over here's where they actually control the telescope. You have things like POCO, which actually move the telescope. So since this is a 3-meter telescope, it's pretty big, so you need a telescope operator. This is where we were collecting spectra, so she had me, like we all took turns taking samples and sending the target coordinates over to him. So we were all in here last night. So, yes, this is the 3-meter Shane telescope. See, you can see just by the base, the foundation, how heavy this thing is. This whole thing moves it. And she said that it's so sensitive that just with your finger, if you push this metal thing, it would make the telescope go totally off on what it was looking at. Because we're looking at things that are milliarcseconds, which are incredibly small. So I'm going to take you guys up to the catwalk. This is where I was last night. It was a pretty crazy experience. It actually made me tear up a bit just because this opportunity has been so amazing. I'll show you guys where I was. So this is like the first floor. You can see that there's some chairs. See, this is great. This is just like at the Park Service. I always loved how I had keys to all these different gates and places that I could go. Well, here's the catwalk. So I'll show you guys where I was sitting. But I was sitting here last night in the complete black of this dome, watching the silhouette of the telescope against the night sky in the dome slit. Okay, so for some reason the video cut off before I could make it here, but this was my chair. So I was sitting here, leaning back, and that whole dome was open, but there was nothing except the silhouette in the sky. And I was just sitting here, and I told them I was going to come listen to some music or audio or something, and I was listening to a Carl Sagan monologue, and this was pivoting towards the sky over there. And Carl Sagan was just talking about, as a species, where he thinks we'll end up. The people that visit Alpha Centauri will not be us, but someone completely, or a species very similar to us, like that. And as I was watching it, I saw the biggest biggest shooting star in my life just right down the dome slit behind the telescope, but I could see it light up in between the non-shadows of the telescope. And that was just incredible. Like, this whole experience has been cool. And then on top of that, I get to see a shooting star as I'm listening to Carl Sagan, just appreciating this telescope by myself last night. I also apologize for my heavy breathing. I mean, I had to climb up. But I'm an astronomer, not an athlete. So I'm going to take you guys out to the outer catwalk. If I can get this open. Is this? There's like 3 doors, but only one of them is the correct door. Let's see. Here, I'll start the video once I get outside. Okay, I realized the reason my key wasn't unlocking the door is because it's already unlocked. Okay, so there's the inner dome and the outer dome. This is the catwalk. Okay, so where are we? So let's see. So the first dome you see on your left is actually not in use. The dome just past that is actually a robotic telescope. It's one of the top in its class. It does everything by itself. The instruments are so sensitive that you could technically tell if a human being was in the room because it would throw off the sensors that much. That whole valley down there is it's like Morgan Hill, San Jose, and that's the whole Bay Area, but you probably can't see that. But we were out here last night in the wind. We were looking at Jupiter through Dr. Bennert's binoculars, and it was really windy, but it was pretty cool. So I probably won't record until I get to the other side, so I can show you what telescope I'm officially certified to use on my own independently. That's the fire watchtower. There's a little booth right there. I don't know if you can see it on the left behind that tree. That's a laser watching booth to make sure that when we point our pointing lasers, so we can track where we're actually aiming and monitor that. See, it's kind of shaky, partially because I'm shaky. So San Francisco's like way down there, but this is all San Jose. I guess you can see like Silicon Valley over there on that side. I think this, I'm pretty sure, yeah. So I'm probably going to go over to that one. The one on the left is the refractor telescope, and the one on the right, the tallest one on the right, is the nickel telescope. So that's the one I'm allowed to use, so I won't record till I get over there. I actually think that I should probably talk about the 3-meter Shane telescope. So this is the telescope that we use for our research. You're only allowed to use it by yourself or be checked out to use it if you're a graduate student, because, I mean, look at this thing. But we use it to look at AGNs, active galactic nuclei. We look at their spectra. There's a spectrograph probably down there. I know some of the light gets funneled down into the basement, but yeah, we use it to look at AGNs, but there's also a tube somewhere in here. Like I saw it last night underneath. It's underground, but they pointed a laser from here up to the Apollo 11 landing site because they left a device there to be reflected to verify that they were actually there. And mission control, Lick Observatory, confirmed they got the laser back. They got the signal. It went right down a chute down there. So I got to see the only thing that verified, well, not the only thing, but it was one of the only scientific experiments done with an observatory and the moon in that time. Let's see, what else has this? I mean, I think what was it? This was the first telescope to ever see an AGN. I know that probably doesn't sound special to you guys, but active galactic nuclei are pretty strange and rare. Oh my gosh. I wish you could see. Oh, well, if I hopefully get a picture, you can see the proportions of everything. I mean, I can't remember all my history talk from yesterday right now. But I sure had a fun time. Actually, I'm supposed to call to see if there's somebody underground that can take my picture, so. Okay, everybody, so this is the visitor side. I'm going to take you to the nickel telescope down the hall. Trying to talk quieter. So this is a bust of James Lick. He had a really, what my trainer called out-of-fashion beard even back then. Yeah, he did a bunch of stuff. I listened to his whole story from my trainer, and it's incredible. If I was able to write a movie or direct a movie about a scientist, I think it'd actually be James Lick, because his life's even crazier than Carl Sagan. So I'm going to take you to the nickel. So here we go. I'm going to ask if someone can take my picture. Staff members only? Well, I'm a staff member right now. Okay, everybody, I made it up into the nickel room. So I shouldn't have to worry. No one's going to be operating it for a while, so I don't have to hit the E-stop button. So this was the telescope that I spent like 5 hours getting trained on yesterday. So now I'm officially, like, that's why I'm allowed to be in here. I just got pictures from one of the support astronomers. So he just took my picture. I'll post that in a bit. And then he just left. I told him I was going to make a video. So I'm cool. So let's see. Yeah, aperture wheel and filter wheel. So these two things right here. This bottom one has the apertures. This top one has 4 filters. There's blue, violet, red, and indigo. It's BVIR or BVRI. Last night it was BVR prime I prime because we were using a Sloan Digital Sky survey filter instead. The aperture just changes like the focus or like how much you're zoomed in. But yeah, I'm going to be using this all summer for my research project, or for my summer research. And so this telescope is called the Nickel Telescope because when a lady from the Bay Area named Ann Nickel died, she left like, how many dollars? She left a bunch of money. I don't exactly remember. I think it was like $28,000 to Lick Observatory, or the UC system for Lick Observatory. And so they took some older parts, took some newer technology, and made a really affordable telescope for this room. So this is what I'm going to be using all summer remotely, but I also have already made, well, I've already asked if it's okay, which it is, to drive up here during my remote observation nights and just sleep during the day, go up here to the control room, do this overnight, and then drive down the mountain where there's a little campground and camp down there instead of sleeping up here. It'll be a lot cheaper. And it only takes $15 for me to drive all the way here. So $15 to get an experience like this multiple times a summer, like, this is my dream. This is a liquid nitrogen tank to keep the CCD really cold. Because in order for the CCD, see, like it says spectrograph, but the spectrograph and the other stuff isn't even connected. We only use the CCD in there. But you need a CCD to be really small, or really, really small. You need the temperature to be really low, like negative low. That's why we have liquid nitrogen, because the higher it is, the more random rogue, like dark currents and other miscellaneous random background noise gets picked up. So this is what I'll be using all summer for my research. I'm so happy, like everything's coming together. Okay, I'll show you guys the control room, then I'll go show you the reflector, and then I should be done, except I want to get a picture with Shane in a bit. But if you guys are still watching, thanks. Okay, so that's just where I was. I just want to show you guys how close the actual control room is to the nickel. So this is where I was trained last night. The room's kind of dark. Yeah, there you go. And see these lights. I realize that these lights take away the perception of time at night. Like they just stay constant all night. So I think that's partially to prevent the astronomers from knowing what time it is. Well, not knowing, but like biologically. So you can stay up all night. I mean, it's my kind of job. I was up till 5 o'clock. I think my teacher was up till 6:30. One of the students was up till 6:30, and the other two went to sleep at... Sorry, I'm putting on my beanie. They went to sleep at 2:30, I think. But yeah, I mean, I'm in Lick Observatory in restricted areas by myself because I'm allowed to be. It's a lot of responsibility, but I'm like super happy. I'll show you guys a reflector. I think it was closed earlier, but I'm pretty sure I can go in there if I tell them I'm one of the astronomers. Okay, this is the last telescope that I haven't shown you guys yet. This is the reflector.
And it's the first high altitude, purpose-built high altitude observatory.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So we kind of, you can step in with us if you want to get a picture.
Okay. That's Paul, that's who trained me last night.
So this is the centerpiece of his observatory. So this is the 36-inch refractor, which was the largest telescope of its kind in the world when it went into operation. And it's still the superior telescope. Two telescopes that have been built with a lens since that time, larger. So there's a 40-inch Yerkes Observatory in Williams Bay, Wisconsin, but it's at an inferior site. Yes. So the astronomers that left here to go and work at Yerkes have always regretted it. So people like Barnard, for example. Yeah. Then we went, there's another lens telescope being built that's a metre wide as well. But that is part of the Solar Telescope at the Canary Islands. Right. And there was a 49-inch refractor lens built for an exhibition in Paris in the late 1800s, but it never actually... It was not a movable telescope. They used like a mirror to stay okay in the basement and they dismantled it.
57 feet. So they currently just went underneath the room. I went under there yesterday, so I'm fine, not going under again. It's pretty old down there, and his body, James Lick, is actually buried underneath the telescope. He was excavated 11 years after he was dead, and he's buried under the foundation down there. He has flowers on his grave. He had a certain amount of demands that if he made this place, like what he would require. And one of the things was fresh flowers on his grave every day. So there's flowers there, but they're plastic. But I think the next time I come, I'll bring a flower or something. Some people put flowers on there. And I mean, like, this is my first introduction into astronomy. So, yeah, I want to thank James Lick. Okay, so maybe you guys can see this better from this side. But there's that. But I never told you guys what I'm actually using the nickel telescope for over the summer. We're going to be comparing the same studies that we did with the 3-meter Shane, which is, we're just looking at the spectra. So me and Edward are going to be, and possibly Isak, are going to be using this remotely, as well as probably driving up here, like I said, to look at the same AGNs that we're looking at. Like right now we have 14 targets, but it's constantly changing. Well, not constantly, but eventually we have to phase them out because they set too early. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that. It's gonna be hours paid for privately by a South Korean researcher, pretty sure. And so he wants us to look at the same objects, and it'll be used in a study. So I'm already, after the summer, I'm going to be cited in 2 research papers, or I'll be one of the authors, one of the co-authors, or whatever. Well, not authors, but like I'll be in the paper. I'll be on 2 research papers. So. Okay, so I guess I'll just finish this video here. I don't know why, it keeps cutting off, so I keep accidentally hitting the volume button, but I have the Look Observatory shirt. That's the Shane telescope. I just got a picture with the telescope now, even though it's pretty blurry because this phone is from like 2014 or something. This is my old phone because my newest phone broke, so I had to go back to my senior year of high school phone. But my upgrade's in a week or two, so yeah. But this trip's been amazing. I'm never gonna forget it, and I think it officially marks the beginning of my career as an astronomer. So dreams do come true if you apply yourself, if you put yourself out there, and if you just keep going. Eventually, you can end up like this. So thanks for watching.
So maybe I'll email you about Tuesday. I'll email you about Tuesday.
Well, I'll see you on Monday.
Hey everyone, Astronomer Chance is officially going to sleep after only having 2 hours of sleep the previous night, so woo! Okay guys, awake again. I'm about to make a giant video from my phone, but I won't post it until I compile it all for YouTube, so I was just out here on the catwalk doing my video. So now I'm back in here, and I'm gonna try to get a picture. Okay everybody, I want to introduce you guys to the nickel 1 meter telescope, and I'll be using the nickel telescope all summer.